Hi there and welcome to another yet exciting edition of Carol's Kitchen GT the show. Today we're going to be baking cross buns. Now just a little bit of history that I read on the internet. I am not sure if it's the real history or if it's true or not, but this is what I read on the internet. So in the 14th century, a monk baked buns and he put a cross on it and divided it into four just to celebrate Easter and to mark the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Apart from that, I read another story where they divided the bread into four parts to depict the four seasons, and that's what caused it to look like if it was a cross on the buns. But in Guyana here, we just call it cross buns. We make it Easter time. I'll be baking these cross buns right inside my own kitchen. But before we continue, I would just like to thank our main sponsors, Sterling Products, with Igloo Ice Cream, and of course, the Sterling ghee and margarine, which I put a little bit of both in the cross buns that I made as well, just to give it a little bit of flavor. And for me, it keeps it more soft and it stays fresher longer. So apart from that, GT&T with MMG and Business Solutions. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Friendship is the one thing I could never live without. How long has it been? 15 years? 16 years, girl. We have been friends ever since that day you appeared out of nowhere with my favorite. The good old days. So much has changed. Well, not everything. Igloo ice cream is still our #1 comfort food.
Igloo ice cream. Igloo ice cream.
Igloo ice creams, making moments a magical memory.
With the pride and joy that comes with being the owner of a small or medium business comes the hustle and hectic days where there's so much to do and only one of you. We understand all those times you wish there were 8 days in the week. All those days you wished you had 4 hands. That's why GTT Business Solutions has introduced Connects. We're talking internet speeds of up to 600 megabits per second with up to 6,000 minutes, including calls to USA and Canada. Helpful features like caller ID and call waiting. Get up to 2 landline numbers and the convenience of having it all on one bill. So breathe easy. Reliable and affordable help is here with GTT Connects. GTT, together we rise smarter.
Cleaning power like no other, Mighty Foam dishwashing liquid cuts through grease and grime every time. For great fragrances, Mighty Foam dishwashing liquid gets your dishes spotless and is gentle on your hands.
So some people like to put the raisins. There's 2 types of raisins, dark ones and golden ones. These are golden ones. Some people like to put them whole, but I like to chop them up a bit so that they would spread out more in the buns itself. And then I have coconut milk. Some people again use, you can use regular cow's milk or powdered milk or carnation milk. I like to use coconut milk. It does give it a nice nutty kind of flavor. And then I will add the yeast. So I'm not making a lot today, so it's just a half pack of yeast I'm using. Brown sugar as well. Now, as much as the raisins give the cross buns a kind of sweetness, you still need to put some sugar in it because it does 2 things for me. It makes it a little more sweeter so you can eat it by itself. Or I know some people like to put cheese in the middle, or sometimes you can just eat it with butter or, like I said, by itself. So the sugar makes it tasty enough so that you can just eat it by itself. Because I'm not using self-rising flour, I'll put a bit of baking powder as well. Along with the yeast, yes. I add some mixed essence. I like to mix up my essences, so I put some mixed essence and I have some almond essence here as well. Then I grate a bit of nutmeg, fresh. I sprinkle some cinnamon. Now, if you have one of those store-bought packets or bottles of spices that has everything in it, meaning cinnamon, nutmeg, and all the good stuff that makes cakes and pastries, you can definitely use that. Now I'm going to add a scoop of golden cream margarine. This helps the cross buns to stay moist and soft as well when it's finished. I go ahead and add the flour. I do not measure. If you need measurements from me, you can always interact on my Facebook page while the show is while you're watching the show or after. Just a tad bit of salt, not much. And what the salt does is just brings up the flavor and everything else. Now I like to use my hands. I know some people will say that I have long nails and they're well painted, but if you look at Food Network and you look at the international shows, the FDA does not have a problem with that. So you guys, I'm doing this my way. If you want to use gloves, or if you have a mixer and you prefer to use the bread mixer to do this as well, you can. So you just mix all of this together. So this countertop has been cleaned with Mighty Foam surface cleanser, which is made by Sterling Products, who is one of our main sponsors. So I can assure you that the countertop is as clean as can be. And so are my hands, because I use the dishwashing liquid made by Sterling Products as well. That's part of the solution that I just mentioned with a bit of bleach. And I do have a little brush that I brush my nails with twice a day and during cooking as well, just to let you guys know. Now, as long as this is set, we'll just make it in a little ball. We'll place it back in the bowl. As you notice, the dough that I made earlier, it has now been doubled. And it took just about, I would say, half an hour to 45 minutes. It depends on the type of yeast you use, and it depends on the heat in your home as well. So what I do, I cover the bowl. I'm going to take this out again so I can knead it for a second time. I usually cover the bowl with a plastic or saran wrap. The reason why I do that is because the plastic helps to keep in the heat more in the bowl. And the heat is what helps to ferment the yeast in order for the dough to raise. I'm just gonna average again. Like I said, I don't measure anything. And you make them into a circle or a bun. Some people like the indented cross, or some people like the cross with an extra piece of dough across it. So I just take a kitchen scissors and I snip it like this. It's much easier than using a knife. And there you go. You have your cross made with the dough and the indentation with the scissors. So while we wait for this to raise, we'll just go to a commercial break and we'll be right back.
It's here! Igloo Ice Cream Fruit Bars. 4 mouth-watering flavors. Mango, pineapple, strawberry, and soursop. A beautiful combination of real fruit and igloo ice cream. Go old school with Fluty Popsicle. classic flavors, and refreshing goodness. Available at Igloo outlets and all your favorite shops.
With 70% ethyl alcohol, Mighty Foam Hand Sanitizer eliminates 99.99% of all germs and even moisturizes in the process, leaving your skin clean and hydrated. Mighty Foam Hand Sanitizer. How do you stay clean? Igloo Premium Ice Cream. Not all good things must come to an end.
So as you can see here now, the buns have been raised again to double its size and they're ready to hit the oven. Okay, so we're gonna place these babies now at a temperature of 250. I like to bake them slow so that they can raise properly and cook in the middle because they're quite huge. A batch of these beautiful brown golden cross buns are ready. So we're gonna take them out and then I'm just gonna put some glaze on them. Some people use maple syrup, some people use any kind of syrup that they can find. Usually the original traditional way, like I know it, like I was taught from my mom, is to just make like a simple syrup, which is sugar and water, very thick. And then I like to add a bit of margarine in this as well and melt it down a bit. Of course, I used golden cream from Sterling Products. And the reason why I like to use the margarine is that so the buns stay nice and moist at the top with the little sugary content. So there you have it, guys. These are our freshly baked cross buns.
These are baked cross buns. Two of this say with a cup of tea and you're good to go. Or if you just put it back in the oven or in the microwave or so, and let the cheese could melt in for some people who would like it like that.
So we've come to the end of another exciting edition of Carol's Kitchen GT, the show. And we've also come to the end of Holy Week, which is the end of our fasting period. I'm a Christian, for all Christians in Guyana and around the world. So I would just like to wish everyone in Guyana a happy Easter and a safe Easter as well. I'm standing here in the Botanical Gardens where a lot of folks will be coming out with their families, friends, kids. I think there will be a live band playing at the bandstand as well on Easter Monday. I urge you to be safe if you're flying your kites. Find a safe area. Find an area where there's no wires and huge trees to get tangled up in and all that unhealthy, unsafe stuff. Also, I'd like to mention that we're in the middle of the fasting for our Muslim brothers and sisters as well. We just ended the fasting season for our Hindu brothers and sisters. So I just want to say happy Easter to all Guyana, all the world. And once again, thank you so much to our sponsors, Sterling Products, with Igloo Ice Cream and Golden Cream Margarine, and of course, the other ingredients that I used to put in the cross buns that I made that are from Sterling Products, and GT&T with MMG and Business Solutions. Thank you for watching. See you next time.